Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Oh, whoa, my camera. I thought it was open. It is. All right. How
It
are
is.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous.
Got a
Just taking a
got
bite.
a
Ah.
virtual screen behind you or whatever.
Yes, finally. Oh, now is my head green or whatever?
No, it looks good.
Is like,
Yeah.
do I have like a green halo or anything? Am I good?
No, yeah, it's crystal clear. It looks good.
I've been playing with a few
How?
pictures.
Oh no, it looks good.
Um, I used one the other day. It was dark. I like the dark, but I'll save the dark for like the wild
The
shows.
yeah,
Yeah, this one's pretty cool.
that's
And
true.
I'm actually having one made where my name is in one of these corners. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh, that'll be cool. I don't even
yeah,
know
yeah,
how to do any of that. But anyway,
yeah, yeah.
well,
What's been
welcome.
going, what's been going on in your life?
Um, Not a whole lot. The hubby's been gone for his annual training. It's been about
Okay,
2 weeks, so
mm,
he'll be back
okay,
tomorrow. But other than that, that's about it. How about you? What's
cool.
going on in your world?
No, I don't have a hobby, and so I don't.
Hobby, hobby.
Yeah. No, I'm stable. It's been a rough week. It's been hot here too. It's like 100
Ooh,
degrees,
yeah.
which is nothing compared to the 109s in New Mexico and the 115s in Dallas and all that. So it's nothing. Um,
Mm-mm.
I'm just up here melting like a snow cone, but it's okay. Steady week,
Wow.
steady week. It's okay.
It's been
Surviving,
a,
surviving.
it's been okay though.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to maintain, as they say. Hmm.
You so I mean, it's possible that we have rough weeks sometimes, right? We don't
Oh,
always
absolutely,
feel. Is that
absolutely.
so?
Ups and downs, ups and downs. And every time we go up, not that we have to expect a down, but oh, what is that saying? There's a
What
saying, and don't quote me on it, but it's something about we. Again, I'm not saying it correctly, but we prepare for when things go down, but we assume that when they go up, they're supposed to just stay up. But part of and it's,
Ooh.
I'm talking about it's slick too, the way it's phrased. I have to try and think who said it and what they said. But what they were saying is don't get confused that your ups are just as much as part of your downs, and your downs are just as much as part of your ups, because for every down you have, it should serve as a spark. In fact, the quote was, a setback is a major setup for a comeback. So
Ooh.
setback is a major setup for a comeback. And a few people have been saying that over the years, but this person added that to your setbacks don't always have to be like a down something. Your setback, people get so lost or complacent or comfortable that things
Mm.
are going well that then they're in shock and like, oh, how come this is happening to me? It's like that's the way it goes.
Right. And they make it like a broad, I guess blanket label on their entire life when it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've found that it's like actually things have been pretty good for a while, but it's so easy to just kind of take it for granted. So then when things,
Hmm.
as they inevitably do, get a little rough, it's
Right.
like it feels like it's torture and it's forever, but that's because we're more aware almost. We're not just in, the everyday motion autopilot because things are good, you know?
Right.
But
And then,
but we have to have both.
hmm and and even when we are having good, what is that an expectation?
Ooh.
Greatest way to disappointment is through expectation. And so I expect that life is good. I expect I'm supposed to have this. It's supposed to work that way according to. So expectations are the quickest way to disappointment, and nothing is guaranteed. As far as I know, nothing is guaranteed.
That is a fact. And
Right,
that's
right.
that's definitely something to remember and hold on to, especially as we continue this conversation today. But literally, we could probably bring that in any conversation in regarding mental health or just life in general, whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wellness,
Yeah.
overall wellness. So
Yes.
it's critical. I know we have people coming in slowly but surely. We'll give some shout outs here in a minute. For those who are
Mm-hmm.
listening live and or the replay, please do, if you have not yet, hit the like button. And if you like what you've heard tonight and or other nights on this particular show or the network, please do remember to subscribe if you have not yet. I don't, Coach K, I don't want to steal this line, but I love it. Well, it won't work for me
What?
anyway. It won't work for me anyway. There's
What?
a content, YouTube content person, provider,
Creator, yeah.
or creator. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm first of all, I'm just crazy about it. She's just cute as a button. But she says,
Oh.
if you haven't hit the like button, if you've been to my channel before, and I'm almost mocking her. She's like, and if you've been to my channel before and you haven't hit the like button, or if you haven't subscribed, just do it. We already go together. Quit playing. Man, when she said that, I was like,
Cute. Here's
oh,
for the back, yeah. That
yeah.
is
She
cute.
said,
I'm
we
like,
already go
yeah,
together. You've been here several times. I see you
that's
lurking in the
cute.
back. I was like, oh,
Oh.
is she talking to me? But
Yeah, because you've been in the chat probably or
yeah,
watching, ghost
but
watching. That's what they
yeah,
say.
that's what she called it, ghost watching. But I thought it was so cute the way she said, we already go together. I was like, dang.
They
So
gotta
I know
come
we
up with
have
something.
we have a different show than that content provider, but similar to that
Right.
comment. I won't steal it from her because it won't work for me
Right.
anyway. But if
Yeah, we
you've
gotta
been
figure
here
something out.
and you like what we're saying, you might as well go ahead and do it. Hit the like
Yeah.
button or the subscribe button, and we would appreciate that. It helps with the algorithms, especially for this type of content. If you think about it, it's
Mm-hmm.
not always the glamorous and blah 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 blah, but I think it's
No.
very, very,
Mm-mm.
very, very much needed. So please do, please do.
Yes, it is at the root of everything. And I will piggyback on what you said. It's not entertainment, it's not fun. But at the same time, it is needed
Right.
because a lot of the problems we talk about, it's fun to talk about problems. We all kind of
Mhm.
just not dwell in it, but I mean, we all do it. We vent, whatever. But what are we doing about it? And that's the biggest thing.
Right. What are we doing about it? That's a huge question. Now I've
Yeah.
been noticing
So,
some
yeah.
people actually on this network, and I'm not just blowing smoke. If people have been watching lately, we've been addressing some heavy topics. Like we've been getting into
Mm-hmm.
it. And then there's Rashawn, and I don't know the name of his network, but Rashawn, he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be answering some tough questions on his network, like some not just
Mm-hmm.
talking points, but having some deeper conversations. The
Mm-hmm.
Harris tribe, they've been having some deep conversations. They've been here also with the topic of
Mm-hmm.
if it's not talking points, then I mean if it's talk what if it's not talking points,
Oh,
it's talking
yeah.
points. We're talking about talking points. So they've
Yeah.
been talking about real live stuff or real. I think everything is real, but they've been talking about stuff that is part of that change. If you're gonna really make
Mm-hmm.
change. And then Mandrell has a new channel where he's focusing on
Yes.
change with healthy stuff. And don't quote me. I want to say it's the the big
Big picture.
the big picture. So looking at the overall big
Yeah.
picture of things, and then and I
That's
believe also
good.
his nutritional stuff. So Sir Hale, he's always on fire with his stuff about stuff that's not just talking points, but what's really going on, especially with relationships and parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, Hink in the basement, constantly,
Yes.
very consistent with talking about,
Yeah.
health and being productive and dealing with struggles in life. So a lot of positive stuff has been going on lately. So I'm happy I'm here for it as well. Speaking
Yeah.
of being here for it, we have beautiful animated in the house, and take heed to the message in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Oh,
Good
and
to
take
see ya.
heed to the message has been dropping some nuggets as well. And I don't know if you ever catch her show.
Mm.
She catches a lot
Mhm.
of heat, because
Oh,
she's talking straight to the issue, and it's not a lot of. She's like, we have a conversation.
yeah.
We have a full, but a lot of her content that I've been catching, not maybe the shows, but her reels or videos, are straight
Uh-huh.
to the point. I mean, it's
Mm.
almost like, if I want to tell someone they stink, and I say,
Yeah.
oh, how are you doing? Hey, what's going on? And
Right.
did you have a moment to talk? And take heed is like, listen, now y'all need
Right.
to hear this. your butt stinks.
I
But not
love
a,
that.
yes, but not a judging or shaming way. Just listen, let's cut the crap. It's more like that. Let's cut the crap. Let's get to it. Let's keep it real. And I hear the
Yeah.
shenanigans and I hear the reasons, but let's. So shout out to you, Take Heed, for putting yourself in that position,
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
comes with courage and willingness to put yourself out there. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And speaking to those issues is much, much needed and much, much appreciated. Just wanted to give you a shout out for doing so.
That's so good. And that's a reminder for me, because I wanted to say, as we, get into this, and as a coach, you as a clinical professional, but also a medical professional. That's right. Medical. What I say? Medical. Whatever.
Oh,
Okay. I was gonna
psychological,
say.
yeah, clinical.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But also as a coach, that, like, and of course everyone has a different style, but coaching is like therapy on steroids, and it's not therapy, but it's very sometimes to the point, especially when they've learned the concepts. You're not going to like me all the time, and I'm going to tell you not what you want to hear, but what's going to help you.
Right.
And that's not going to feel good. Just like when Mandrell is working with his physical training or his gym clients.
Right.
I remember working with a trainer, and man, I would not like them when they would tell me to do stuff. And I'm like, I really don't like you right now. But afterwards, I was like, that was so good. You pushed me, and I needed that because I can't do it on my own. So sometimes we're going to say stuff that you're not going to like, but it's not because we're trying to be malicious. And I would also add, is probably an indicator that there might be some truth to it.
Some truth, yes. Part of that pain is with the coaching style that we don't really need to go backwards. And so a lot of what people call their reasoning, justifications, but see, what had happened was, and with coaching, it's like, yep, damn, isn't that the shits? But let's
right.
Here's our target. How are we getting to our target? But without me being able to add in, once upon a time, and you don't. So a lot of people get caught up in those feelings because they don't believe that they feel heard. But yet, I think with coaching, it's not a matter of if we hear you about the past. We're trying to we want to make sure we're clear and we align with you, and then we can help you go. I like to sit in the back seat and you're just gonna run this. You just where you gonna turn? Well, you see where no. You see, why didn't you take the turn? Because you made me nervous. So right there, they'll want to give the kind of the justification about why they get nervous. It doesn't. The light is green and we're going 70 miles. Well, it wouldn't be a light on the 70 miles, but we're going 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you worried about how I'm nervous, and no, let's focus. And that could present like, oh, ouch.
Right.
It's about reaching that destination where we could celebrate with you. And so I think that's why a lot of people with coaching, they get more okay, or relax, or slow down, or well, hold on, I didn't get a chance to, because it's so lasered and really helping people get to their goals.
That's what I love about it, especially because, and I've experienced it, with my own coaches, but also because they don't believe my story. I'm not going to believe your story, because if we call it punching yourself in the face, not actually punching yourself in the face, but if you're telling yourself something or you have a belief that is not serving you, I'm not going to let you continue to punch yourself in the face. I see it because I'm on the outside. So I'm going to tell you, no, that's not true.
Right.
Where of course you're in it, so you can't see it. So
because we're in it, and like we can't see the tip of our nose, right? So it's like
exactly. So good. But anyway, again, hey, beautifully animated, and Take Heed, and we got CBN in the back, and welcome everyone.
Oh, yes. We didn't even do intros. We didn't even do intros, right? Hello, welcome to the Black Man on Fitness Network.
Gotta get that done.
I'm with Coach K, and I'm Dr. Nakumbe with Coach K, and CBN is in the back running the channels for us and pushing the buttons and making things happen. So welcome. Please do sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation. We actually want to hear from you tonight. We want to chop it
Yes.
up because this
Yes.
story nationwide, and even across seas, it's taken fire. It's people have noticed. There's been some racial components to it, and we're talking about the one and only Miss. Now I say Carlee, but is this E? How do you say her name? Carlee.
Yep. Carlee.
Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Carlee Russell. And
Yes.
I get it. I think not all, but most channels or content creators are talking about her, but more of it's the hot news. It's the hot news.
Right.
Absolutely. But then she's a black woman, and if you didn't talk about her, shame on you, right? Because you didn't support her blackness. And then if you did talk about her, but you didn't believe her, shame on you,
right.
because people think. And then if you did support her, and then wow, look what happened, and there you would go cheerleading for someone, and you were wrong. And I want to be first to tell you, Coach K, guess what?
Yeah.
I was one of the ones who Lost in Translation, who's also dropping fire content.
Yes.
Please pay attention to Lost in Translation. He had mentioned, let's pray. This is earlier in the process. Let's pray for her. And one of our shows here, I think it was the barbershop, Black Man's Unfiltered Barbershop, where they had asked, hey, let's talk about this. Now I wasn't on that show, but I remember saying, let's consider the mental health component. And for Lost in Translation, I actually replied on his wall and said, hey, I said it here first. But I said it here
what
first.
were you referring to when you said mental health component?
In the medical field, lawyers too. Some of these high-end profession fields, lawyers, doctors, medical school, nursing, there are a significant amount of people who tap out because of mental health. Ooh, so they have their first life breakdown, nervous breakdown, depression, anxiety, and some even deal with DOD or dissociative disorder. And it's part of trauma and stress. And you can physically be present, but a whole different scenarios going on. Now, back in the day, they actually referred to it as multiple personalities. And I can actually engage in this full conversation with you, and then later not know what the heck you're talking about because I was totally disassociating. Now, people get the personality piece and the disassociating, like thinking of something, daydreaming, like disassociating. We get those two confused. They're not the same. But an actual disorder could lead a person to do the exact same behaviors that she had and then just walk back home like nothing happened. So I hung my hat on that piece. I said that fit the model, that fit the picture. So if someone come to see me and they presented with that, one of the things I would consider diagnosing them with is like, oh, I wonder, I would have to do history search or talk about, the life and family. But that's where I hung my hat on and said, this sounds like a case of that.
Now, do you think, because is she a nursing student or she's a nurse currently, like she's already finished?
I believe she's a nursing student. Remember, she's a nurse now. What do people know if she's a nurse? I believe I said she was a student, and I think her last year.
I mean, that's still a lot, like in what you were talking about.
Let's see. What do we have? Let's see. But I liken this to a case of someone who was disassociating. Now she's home, not out of the woods yet, as far as there are pending police charges.
Correct.
And people who are hot saying, for the taxpayers, the money invested, the search, the time, the energy, the prayers. I think there was even money like for the fund to like actually search for her.
Oh, like what they raised, like them raising money? Like it was like $60K.
Yeah. So there's a lot of talk about, well, who's going to pay this, right? Who's going to pay it? And then there's those who are saying, hey, give her a break. And then Jesse Smollett. I never say that. I always think of Dave Chappelle when he says,
GC Smollett.
yeah. But that case of someone who they said, he told a lie, that didn't happen. And so how do we deal with that? So a lot of people are doing some comparing between the two. So what are your thoughts on it?
Well, and I was also going to add too with what you were talking about with the dissociative, is that how you say it? Dissociative
disorder? Yeah.
Yeah. Also with the relationship thing too. They talked about I don't know if they were broken up or whatever, but a cheating boyfriend or something like that too. So yeah. Yes. So what did that add to it too? Like, would that be, what do you think about that in terms of this dissociative disorder also?
But wasn't he at first saying he thought she was missing, right? Didn't he? Wasn't he part of the belief that she was?
I thought so. I think I remember something like that.
Yeah, because I think the breakup was after. Like he found out when she came home, he was like, "Oh no, I'm good." He did whatever. He broke up after. That's what I believe I heard. It was all.
I don't know, and that's the thing. There's been so much back and forth that it's like, can I get like, and there probably is an article somewhere, but like, let me just get the facts. Like, This is what we know. This has been confirmed as of July 27th. But like something about him cheating with a stripper or something. I don't.
Oh, okay. Now we're always going to have in integrity, journalistic integrity, and the research and all that. One of the unique things about this case, one is still developing, and two, you had this long going story of one side of it, and now so just when we speak on it, so some people wait to speak and get all the facts and then speak on it. So I know between you and I are just kind of pulling what we're hearing out there,
right?
And then which news outlet do you follow, and then then there's the story part of it. Then there's the part where it's not being talked about and people are questioning. Each day that she doesn't talk to it or speak about it or get on one of these channels, that the money, the payoff, like, we want the story. That starts.
Oh, yeah.
So then you get kind of just some breadcrumbs to it, and so our journalistic integrity is, I just don't want people thinking we're just kind of up here like starting a rumor or just talking crazy.
Right.
There's several different outlets providing several different stories. And we don't have the facts, but we want to hear, we want to have that conversation, especially if there's, not if, what was the payoff? What was the benefit? What was the goal?
That's what I want to talk about.
Right. What was the goal? What was the payoff? Because every behavior has a benefit. So if a kid has a temper tantrum, it doesn't seem like that's beneficial, but once that kid gets attention, then there was a payoff. I got what I wanted. If he's like, okay, here, then that was the payoff. So.
Right, exactly. And speaking to, the facts and the journalistic integrity, like, while that is very important, me and Dr. Nakumbe, we're not here for that drama. Like, we're here to talk about, this story as it pertains to mental wellness, mental health. Right. And you're going to get that perspective from us. There's really no gain for us in talking about, well, there's this and that, and I heard this juicy stuff. Honestly, like, I don't, there's no purpose in that, but that's just like my
actually, I'm gonna bring some smoke.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna bring some smoke. And hey, ladies, if I was in the house, hello, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by or being here. Thank you for being, I almost said stopping by, but thank you for being here.
Yes.
But I want to bring some smoke. Here's the deal. There is a belief still. There's not a belief. There's still an ongoing practice of this. She was a woman who now has done whatever she did for whatever reason. And what is the following now going to be? Do we now have increased amount of people who are saying, look at me, or an
Mm.
increase of people who are afraid to stop for a baby? If the story is, I stopped because I saw a child on the road and then I got out and I got kidnapped. If that's the
Hmm.
story and is accurate, so, but what does that do for us? The level of fear, like, I'm good. What do I do for a baby? So I bring the smoke to say, well, wait a second. If this was all a hoax,
Mm-hmm.
what's that do for the people who really feel the fear of doing something, like pull over to do something because I might get hurt in the process?
Right.
And then the flip side of it is, if it's not a hoax, like, do I go and help? Or if it is a hoax, then when do we believe people or not believe people? If we're crying wolf, then
Mm-hmm.
how do we know when to believe people and when not to believe people? So I do offer that to our listeners and to those out there to
Yeah.
consider. Yeah, this is not just oh, ha ha, that was funny. Or if it was mental health involved or any of those things, is like, dang, do we take that in consideration before we hang her by the toes?
Right. And that's something to consider too, because where is that line?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if, let's say, just in general, if someone's, taking actions or making choices that have consequences, have outcomes, can we just wipe it away because of mental health? And that's something that I really don't like about, um, and that's in general, like with, I think, some journalism and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, and just how we view mental health in general. It's like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
They never go into it. Well, what does it mean to, and this is much broader, but what does it mean to have good mental health, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
there's those implications too.
Right. Well, overall is
Yeah.
mental wellness. Mental health is the actual disease or condition. So a medical condition is uh, mental
Ill,
disorder. And so
mhm.
our overall mental health. So
Right.
getting enough rest, eating proper foods, having good energy, being active in your life and doing things, exercising. Overall, those should lead to that should lead to very good, stable mental health.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean wellness.
Yeah, yeah.
And that also goes into your decision making and your ability to function
Mhm.
at work and do different things, your overall wellness. But then when we start
Mhm.
adding in illnesses or symptoms of illnesses,
Right.
so depression and what the symptoms do to you,
Right.
anxiety, what the symptoms do to you, and those things can be environmental purposes or reasons. They can be part of the DNA. Then there are biologic, like brain disorders. So even if you didn't learn it, you didn't adopt
Mhm.
it, you didn't adjust to it, like schizophrenia, and the impact of
Yeah.
that, and the highs and lows that come with the mania. When you hear about someone banging out there, banging on pots and pans, 0 degrees, nude outside, it was like, whoa, what's going on? And we just say, oh, they must have just used the drug or they must have used the whatever. But sometimes that has nothing to do
Mhm.
with drugs. It's the mania part of it. And then people have the highs and lows, the ups and the downs. And down is really, really, really down, and up is really, really up.
Mhm.
So overall, we want to maintain as best as possible mental wellness. And then there's behavioral
Right.
stuff. So, what my brain is doing, and then there's the behavior part of it. The behavior part of it. And certain behaviors lead to people feeling symptoms that are mental. And
Mhm.
then certain mental disorders or the symptoms of it lead
Mhm.
to certain behaviors.
Yeah.
So it's a very sensitive thing. And then it comes with stigma. Who wants to?
Mhm.
If if Mrs. Russell really had a mental health breakdown, she should have got help. But in those dark moments or those chaotic moments, do people
Mhm.
just rush out and get help? Does it work that way? Does it really work that
No.
way?
No.
You
Did
you
she
were
even
talking about
realize she needed it?
she didn't need it, but People will say it doesn't matter. You know when you get out your car, you leave it on, you leave your wig, and it's probably one of them wigs that they sell here on the network here. But she left her wig in the car, and you had to know. Now pause the version of she knew that story. Let's say that version of the story she knew. We'll pause that. If there was mental health at that played a role in this, it doesn't work like that where you just magically know. People
No.
get disoriented, disassociate, they snap out, there are people who black out, there are people who don't even remember things, their sleep patterns, insomnia. There are people who might stay up 2 or 3 days straight, and then insomnia, psychosis. Okay, banging your head against the wall because you hear voices and you want to smash that voice in your head. Shut up, bow on the wall. And people are like, oh, you just wanted attention. You just wanted attention. Da da da. But for those people who've been up 2 or 3 days straight and they're dealing with that insomnia, psychosis, that's not a game for them. It could present that way, really. So that's what. You have jokes. But that stuff is real. We were just talking here not too long ago about insomnia, and I always butcher the word. It's 2 words put together: insomnia, sexual insomnia.
Oh.
And I have clients that have that where, dream walking,
sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking.
Yeah, I know. I have narcolepsy, so I know a lot about the sleep. But I have the opposite of insomnia.
All right. So
what?
Sleepwalking, there's a sexual version, or not sexual version. There are people who can actually have full sex, engage in the act of sex
while they're sleep,
but awake. Yeah. Instead of the moans.
That's interesting. That makes sense.
And totally not even know the next day, like, what? You didn't even give me any last night. What are you talking about?
I wonder, because I remember when I was on a Lapeef panel, we were talking about how this woman wrote into, I don't know, something like a Dear Abby type of thing. It sounded like. And she said that her husband kept waking her up in the middle of the night to have intercourse. And it was affecting her sleep because she couldn't go back to sleep after that. And then the next day he would say it was her. I don't really know what the situation is, but I'm like, oh, it could have been that. You know what I mean? Like it could have been him doing that and he didn't even know.
Right. And blaming each other, like, why were you last night? What are you talking? Oh my, are you cute? But totally clueless and engaged in the full act and not even. So and then the M word, so self-soothing. There are people who, married or not, you can be married and have, start making whoopee at 10 p.m. and get done around 10:04 p.m. But then go in your computer room for 4 hours and then be asleep. So the ones that sexsomnia I'm talking about actually be out of it, but not want to stop and just keep going and going. And then when they finally come to, it's like, man, they, oh my gosh, they've been watching for hours and full features and videos and corn and not even realizing it's like, you didn't know. And you would think they should know, right? They should be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And let go. But
wow, that is so interesting. So with the Carlee Russell situation, and let's say I'm not going to speak for you, but we're not I can't diagnose. Obviously, I'm not a medical professional.
Right.
But we're just talking about,
absolutely not diagnosing. Just
right. We're just
giving a description, but we're not diagnosing. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're just, talking about possible. You know what I mean? I'm not going to keep going into that. So let's say that the dissociative disorder. Now, because I guess she planned some of it, or she was Googling things, I guess, about because they got access to her phone or whatever to look up her Google searches. Now, would that be a part of this, dissociative or potentially, obviously, I know everyone's
Right.
not the same, but
Well, one way to think about it is, hey, grooming and reviews, welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. One way to let's go back to the old term. Let's go back to the old term just for language purposes.
yeah, that works.
Of multiple personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So
That
usually
works.
in the movies we see it as, "Hey, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? Hey, girl, we see it as that in the movies, right? But
Yeah.
the actually have again clients who have had full conversations with people only to find out that person wasn't themselves.
Mm.
And so that we consider them a vulnerable adult. Like they're a vulnerable adult because at any given time, if they transition into, so the part where it's disconnected again, if I see something like, whoa, car accident, something, I disassociate to avoid the not just trauma, but the shock. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, there's a certain type of disassociating. Well, I didn't do that, but I'm telling a lie, but I really do believe the lie. I don't know if you know people who lie so hard that they actually believe the lie.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of wanting to disconnect and not be part of that, or not even realizing. But the illness that I'm talking about is actually a disorder to the point where, for language purposes, where I'm actually a totally different personality in character, and one doesn't always know what the other one is doing. So in the movies, we see a lot of, no, that was Billy that did that, right? And
Yeah.
the movie, a lot of movies they do that. It was Billy, and then, well, will you ask Billy why? Just a second.
It's the
Well,
whole thing.
Billy said it's none of your goddamn business. Oh, why would Billy say that? Hold on. He said, "Bitch," but so it's a lot of this connecting that way, and some people
Right.
may do it that way. But from my experience, the clients that I've worked with, and again through the trauma part of it, it's not something they want to do. It's not something they desire. It's very distressing. Imagine, it's like a person who drinks alcohol and they get intoxicated and they don't know what they did that night.
Yeah.
But you hear about the people with the DUI, they drive home and they have zero idea how they got home.
Yeah.
And so it's that type of terror. Is that type of like, oh my gosh, how did what the so it's very troubling. But yes, that version of it, if she had done that, I wouldn't be able to understand the previous, like, again, the movie version would be Billy is going to, oh, can you escape in the middle of the night? Oh, what am I doing? Don't be thinking about escaping in the middle of the night. Oh, and then driving and whatever. And Billy says, whoa, there's a kid out there. And then boom, Billy took over. It's hard for me to imagine that. Again, the non-movie version. And
Right.
I'm not an expert in this area. I'm not an expert in this area. So when I talk about it, it's more about either the clients that I've experienced or the things that in sessions. And in those sessions, I've not heard it put together that way, where people are able to do the planning piece and then this piece. Now, some personalities will take off from where they left off. So in the jail, there are clients who I get a call from the detention staff that say, yeah, that person is reporting that they're trans. And not don't identify. We need to figure out what cell to put them in. And the officers are like, "Bull, what?"
Right.
And then when I talk to them, what they're saying is they were actually that way when they came into the jail, and out of a internal psychological protective measure, like to put on this face, but then to totally disassociate with themselves. So, hi, I'm Billy. And then later in the cell, this small room, claustrophobia, all kind of stuff going through your head. It's like, why'd you tell him you were Billy when you're really Samantha? Why that was stupid. And no, because if you tell them you're Samantha, then you're gonna be in all kind of trouble. And where are they gonna put you? They're gonna put you out there with all those. Just stop. Oh, You need to be honest with yourself. Officer, can I talk to you? Listen, I shouldn't even be in here. Why? I feel different. I'm not actually part of the regular population. I should be so and so and so and so. And then they're being truthful with their presentation, but out of a significant fear, they've actually, again, not the movie version. Oh, don't do that. You can get in trouble. But out of fear, oh, then they're gonna come here and try and delete me.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's rec time and I'm out with people thinking, man, do they like see through me, and are they okay. Just relax. Listen, you're Billy, you're gonna be fine. Billy, you're gonna be fine. So then there's that version, but again, that wouldn't come with kind of like an intentional plan. It kind of happens in the moment, then you plan in the moment, like what do we need to do? What do we need to do? But
Right.
not searching, hey, how do you fake renting a car and switching it, and how do you, but then I'll land my plane, as I say, with this piece, back to the theatrical piece. Billy is looking into how do you swap out a rental car, like on a totally different day. Billy presents again. Now Billy is acting out still on what they were talking about the other day. But from the way this played out, I don't see that as the case. But anyway, I hope that makes sense. There are more technical ways of saying it, or versions, or better ways of saying it, but that's just my 2 cents.
So let's say, because we don't know for a fact, let's say Carlee didn't have this, for example. I can still find some understanding for reasons why I don't agree with this, but reasons why she might do this. What do you think? Let's say it's not necessarily a maybe disorder, although it is some kind, it could still stem from unhealthy mental and emotional states, maybe in general. What do you think?
Okay. Well, let's move. So we talked a little bit about the mental part. Let's move that aside and talk about the emotional. So, and people might be. I see people are chatting about having some good chats here. So we would like to pull people up pretty soon. Also, to engage in this conversation.
Yeah.
But when we think about the emotional piece, so one, what was triggered? And I'm not sure what you heard about, her case, but what was triggered either at the scene. So if I see what I believe to be a kid, or even before that, I'm just going for a drive. So there's an emotional trigger of something, and I'm going for a drive. Wait, let's go back even further. I've already thought about how do you ditch a car, and how do you do this?
Yeah, like a plan.
Disappear. So at the point of the planning, what was going on that got her? I usually say, what got you there? What got you there? Now with coaching, we say, we're here now.
Yeah.
What do we need to do? So if you look at both perspectives, when it comes to the emotional piece, I would question what was going on that kind of drove her bus. Like what drove the bus to even start? Man, what happens if you? So what's
I'm concerned about that too.
If we look through the coaching lens, or kind of not, let's not go too far back.
Like not into childhood per se, but yeah.
Right. What's the goal in this? What's your target in this? Well, I'm searching this because I believe I will be able to. I believe people will. So what's the goal in this? Right. And trying to figure out if you actually commit to this story that's running in your head, the narrative that's running. What's the narrative? What is the narrative? How does it make you feel? And then how are you acting that out? So what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And how are you acting on it? And they all play on each other. Based on my thoughts. Yep. I feel a certain way about it.
Yep.
Some say, well, it could be, if it's the feeling first, and the feeling makes you act. So we could play with that. We can say, well, if I felt angry, and then now my thought is, how can I get revenge, or how can I act out on this get this anger out? So now I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about how to get the anger out, and then I go do what I thought. I go do
Mm-hmm.
what. So in her case, if she was hurt, if we're talking about a boyfriend,
Right.
she's feeling hurt, then thinking about, I'm not worthy. No one loves me. I wonder if I was gone, if anyone would even notice. So now that's the
Right.
thinking, and then I'm going to act on that. So I thought it, and then, but is the act creating the plan? So I think there's a small piece in between there. The act itself is creating the plan, because if it was Monday that there was some searching, but the act doesn't happen until Tuesday or Wednesday, then that
Right.
means there was time to have the initial feeling of hurt or anger or hurt, whatever the emotion was. My thought now is, I'm questioning, like, well, what happens if no one ever saw me again? So that's the thought. And then the act, or excuse me, that's the thought. And then the act is to research it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
what if you park your car? So that's one kind of story right there. But the
Mm-hmm.
gap in time, now I have time to rethink, I have time in between.
Right.
So, so then I say, well, if you think of a chain, linking chains together, if you
Yeah.
follow the chain of behavior,
Mm-hmm.
what was that new thought? What was that new feeling? And what was that act that she's doing now? And that's how usually what happens with the emotional piece of it. Emotion, thought, behavior, or thought, emotion, behavior. But right
Mm-hmm.
after that behavior, there's another emotion or thought about that behavior.
Right. Right. And the result yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly what,
Mhm.
yes.
And some people build on that. So if I drove somewhere, there's that pause. I mean, because we're talking about like this major step coming up, where I'm going to leave my door
Right.
open, leaving the wig, and I'm walking off into. So that's a thought. Now I need to put it into action. So
Mm-hmm.
what comes with that? The courage that comes with it, or the daredevil that comes with it, the fear that comes with it, or the motivation that comes with it. And then boom, off into, now that moment or that chunk of time that she's missing.
Right.
If it's intentional, then it's the, how long does it kind of get some attention?
Right.
Am I watching, like, kind of seeing if it's in the news? Am I watching from a distance to see if anyone even comes to my car? So
Yeah.
there's some, or she could just be walking and just going and going and going, but there's still some emotional piece to it. The
Yeah.
grief and loss. The people who I know care about me, and I really don't want them to hurt. If she's thinking that, if she's thinking that.
Right.
And if she's not,
Right.
then the opposite, the people that she didn't give a damn about. What's that about?
Right. I think I'm with you in all of these questions and like in the considerations. And I even like was considering zooming out in terms of, well, if I'm and I don't and I'm going to imagine she didn't, let's say if this is the case, she didn't recognize that she was feeling, maybe neglected or feeling the need to be seen and heard, those types of
Mm-hmm.
things. And that with a great desire in feeling that way, which we all do as humans,
Mm-hmm.
that she could do it this way. Or let's say, and again, I don't know the exact facts of the situation, but let's say she wanted to feel seen and heard because of whatever happened with her boyfriend.
Right.
So, okay, and I can say in high school, I remember picking fights with my boyfriend or threatening to leave because then I got him in a place where he
Mm-hmm.
showed that he cared about me,
Right.
which
Right.
is very manipulative and was wrong. But my goal of that was to feel like he cared, whatever.
Right. And
But
the
that was
behavior,
my
yeah, the reward in that behavior if
right.
he showed the care, right?
Right. But looking back at it now, and as a coach, I would say that's not a good way to go about it. You know, you're kind of playing with someone in a way. You're kind of toying with them. And if you aren't feeling heard or seen or loved, what's that about? How
Right.
do we know this?
Right.
And maybe, and I'm not saying that they can't think that or feel that way,
Mm-hmm.
but how can we attack that and work on that in a sustainable and genuine way that doesn't
Right.
include fake? I don't want to say faking, but I guess they've admitted it now. But picking a fight with my boyfriend or
Right.
saying that I was kidnapped, that kind of
Right.
thing, you know?
And then how far does a person go if they don't? Because if the goal, right? Because every behavior has a goal or a reward or
Right.
something. So, you know, what if in your case or someone's case, if the boyfriend after a while recognizes these behaviors, now the more soothing side would be like, come on, whoa, here we go.
Right.
Come on now. But I'm still kind of, I think the person is still getting the reward because, okay, it was sooner than later that you are now giving me the attention. But the times when that boyfriend or whatever is like,
Right.
and blah, 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 and this is bullshit, and you don't.
Right. And then I'm like, see, you don't care. And then I probably lose him, maybe, or it's going to require even bigger and greater
Bigger, right?
things.
A bigger behavior to get for a bigger
something drastic, probably.
with the hopes of this would get your attention.
Yeah. If that didn't, this will. Or if this wasn't
Did you know
working.
one of the number one, not reasons? Did you know one of the number one? Oh, is it reasons? Let's play with it. The number one reasons. Whatever.
I'm going
Self deletion.
Oh.
You know, most of those are successful because it was only a practice or a scare tactic. It was only a practice or a scare tactic that went too far. That went too far. So in this case that we're talking about, if you don't pay attention to me, okay, so you're just gonna sit there and eat your M&Ms. Okay, oh, you got jokes. Now here it is. My brain is searching. Right, I'm going through to try and figure out what
a cry for help, that kind of thing. I think that's what it is.
This might even be the direct cry. This is the search for what do I think is going to get your attention. Then the cry. So, you know, I whatever, Mark, you know, I do something, but I accidentally go too far. Let's look at in the case though where some people would say and have no idea what you look like in high school, and some people will debate if Carlee. They say, well, you are too beautiful. Like I would hear people say, I can picture people saying, you Coach K, like, oh, come on now. You don't have problems.
Right.
So why are you acting that way?
Yep.
You can have any person you want. Why act that way? And or part of the snobbiness or the beauty, like she knows she's fine. She knows she's this, so then she's doing it on purpose. So some people might engage in resisting the attention the attention grabber you're going for. They might resist not out of not wanting to hear you, but think you need to grow the fuck up and you're acting like a little bitch right now, or you're acting like a little snob right now, a little brat right now, brat, and I'm not going to engage in the brat behavior.
Right.
So I'm thinking that I'm doing good by not engaging in the bratty behavior, when you might take that as, wow, you really don't give a shit.
Right.
So we're totally missing each other, not on purpose. But then how far does one go to say, I'm not playing? And we have to be careful because over here, how far do I go? Like, you're stupid.
Right.
Listen, don't call me, right? Just, and I'm actually doing the opposite of what you were trying to get. or for our sexually active people who think that,
Mm-hmm.
excuse the expression out there, and this, not everyone's out there is this way, but to the person who believes you just need to be fucked. That's
Right.
what. And it's like, whoa, okay, I wasn't trying to go there. I just wanted you to like, we go to school or we're doing whatever, and like you're like you don't even like. I just wanted a hello, but
Right.
I'll sacrifice my body if it gets me the touch, if it gets me your time, if it gets me your attention, if it gets me. So there's a good number of people out there engaging in sexual activity, and when they say I really didn't want it,
Right.
why did you even? Well, for those 4 minutes, it got me held, right? It got,
Right.
or I knew they were with me, like he's in the house with me. So even
It
though it wasn't intended for like, but if that's what it takes,
Right. It's like, well, what were they after with something
right?
like that? And something that I would address with my clients is, and you said this earlier in a similar fashion, there's something that we're at, there's a reason we do something.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how you said it, but I'll just say it this way. The things that we want, or the goals that we have, the plans that we have, whatever we want, it's usually for a reason and for how we think it'll make us feel in attaining it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
When we're getting that attention, how do we feel? We probably
Right.
feel accepted. We probably feel worthy, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't have the tools and the ability to create that within ourselves and to feel confident within ourselves and to love ourselves, and obviously the behaviors that stem from that, well, if we don't
Mm-hmm.
love ourselves, then we're not going to do things, and we're going to be like, see, told you so, you stupid, ugly, whatever. um then we're going to seek it from the outside. I mean,
Right.
and we've talked about this on a couple shows. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we're conditioned to believe that our emotions are caused externally from the advertisements that we see. Drink this Coke or buy this car and you're going to be luxurious or whatever. But also, too, when you're young, you hurt her feelings. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, that it implies that someone outside of me hurt me.
Right.
Um, so then we need something outside of us to make us feel a certain way. And that's where the trouble comes into play. I
Mm-hmm.
think, at a
Mm-hmm.
basic level. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think?
Oh, I totally agree. So engaging in behaviors to get that need met knowingly or unknowingly, and then how
Right.
far do I go to get that need met? And then what's also interesting is after I get the need met, the level of resentment and regret.
Hmm.
Resentment and regrets, like, did I need to go that far? Or back to the sex one, like, I really wasn't trying to be effed, because like, wow. And that's to the extreme of like, oh, you just want to F me, but if that's what they want, but can they just make love to me? Like, why does it have to be, oh, you're acting that way because you want to be, so, the level of aggression, if I give into that, then I feel like, wow, I just got hurt. I got bullied. I got punked. I got this. I got that. So regret and resentment for this behavior that I either engaged or participated in. And my question is like, at what point do we recognize that there you go. You're going from 0 to 60. Where's going on? Where's this threat? Where's this perceived threat? What's really going on? Are you sure that's the threat in your mind, that no one loves you? Are you sure that
Right.
where's the evidence to that? And so we went
Right.
from 0 to 60, and we're starting to build up. And there was either nothing there, just some smoke, or there was something there, but did your response match, like the way you did it or what you did it match what was, if something really was happening, did it match that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did the problem go here and you went here? The risk that you took for something that was here. So
Right. yeah,
Well,
let's
let's get around with the. I see there are a few questions in the chat. Let me
yes.
get some folks up. I see. How do you both feel when friends call each other? Now, is that to us, or I know there's some chat. You guys are.
Yeah,
Uh, are
yeah,
you asking, or are you asking us
they,
about?
yeah, they asked us, because
And
he said that earlier, and I asked him to send it again just to make sure I
got it, got
understood
it.
it.
And if you want, are you comfortable, Coach K? Should we open
Yeah,
up
yeah.
CBN or BMU, whoever will drop the link? And I see Beautiful Animated also had a question. Or she said that some of that is just some BS. Lady, as far as almost having a funeral. So how do you both feel when friends call each other family? Call each other family, or you mean call each other's family? Like like best friends call each other family. Is
Oh,
that too much? I know some people are weird about that. Personally, I think it's okay, and I think people need to mind their business. So again, I don't know if that's for us. How do you feel when friends call each other family?
yeah. Well, because earlier he said he asked it. He said, Doc and Coach, question: how do you feel when people say to a friend, they're like family to them? So, and I
Oh,
asked him
yeah,
to
like
ask
this is
it
my
again.
cousin, or this is like, or we're like family. We've been
Hmm.
friends so long. Yeah. Um, I mean, I think that's natural because you get to create your own family.
Right.
There are your relatives, there are your blood relatives, and then there's your chosen family. So people make their chosen. I mean, people put together their own chosen family, and then you have your
Yeah.
blood relatives. And
Yeah.
so,
I don't care. Like I think whatever you want. I mean, now of course, like sure, your mom and dad holds a different weight, maybe, but I don't think there's any rules to it. Who cares? Do what you
no.
want.
Now
But
there's that
go
fine
ahead.
line between what do friends do as friends and what do friends do as family, or there's the
That
expectation, right?
boundary.
Because I might say, like, come on now, coach, you like my sister.
Right.
And what does that mean as my sister? Does that come with a different set of obligations or expectations? I needed some money, and wow, I thought you were like my sister or my cousin, or I am. I'm down. Like you're my best friend. The best friends are best friends. But when I add on that as family, does that mean? Because a lot of people believe that your family, the relatives, owe or are
Mm.
obligated. So some people add that on to add on that layer of you're thicker than the blood as friends is one thing, but the blood of a relative is higher,
Right.
of
Right.
family is higher. But I know people who I don't know them, but I talk to people who actually I used to do graffiti,
Yeah.
and the guys would spray paint, and I didn't know how to do all that part, but I was the lookout guy. Now,
Mm.
to me, that role was just as important as the ones who put up the art. Because when they put that art up, I was able to be like, yeah, we,
Yeah.
right? And then, but that comes with that comes with like a certain type of proud. I'm proud, like woo.
Right.
Imagine those who sell products on the street. That you sell those right those products. The lookout person. So you have the dealer and the lookout person, and that dealer feels like, wow, you protected me. For those in those situations, like you put your life on the line, either from
Yeah.
other people or the police or whatever, and vice versa. I knew if something happened to me, you would protect me, and you would do so. That don't think that bond doesn't. Have parents of teenagers saying, we had to hang out with that silly friend, your silly friend, and if he went to the hospital right now, that silly friend wouldn't even be there. That might be true 1 billion%, but the value in that statement, I felt that type of love, the hospital love. I felt that when we were out in the streets the other day doing graffiti. I didn't need to be in the hospital when I
Right.
felt that level of love about will they be there for me or will I be there for them? So it's not always an equal match about, yeah, and if you went to the hospital right now, do you think they will come and see you? If you went to jail, do you think they will come and see you? And because the stimuli is different. When I get to jail, that stimuli is like, oh, dude, how am I going to get up there? And I don't know. And ooh, you scared now. That's different. But during the acts, it's a different type of love. So do we have people want to come up?
Yeah, I was gonna say grooming and reviews definitely come on up if you want to, and we can talk more about your question and maybe get some context to it. I do want to shout out Lady Navoa. She sent a cash app.
What song
So
does she want?
I know I'm seeing. CBN, we owe her a song, but let's see what she wants. So thank you for your support, Lady Navoa. She's always here in the chat, sending love. Don't forget to support Black Men Unfiltered Network, and if you want to send some love our way, you can. Cash apps are schooling across. But yeah, the link is in the chat if anyone wants to come up and talk about the Carlee Russell, like what we've been talking about,
While
this
we're doing
show.
that, I do want to, I kind of throw this question out to the mods. And please forgive me, I'm not a content creator. I mean, well, we're doing this, sorry. But
I know what you mean.
I'm not a network person. So my question really to the mods, our beautiful animators who's in the house right now. Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Our beautiful animator, our Lady Navoas, our Quiet Storms. I mean, some of these are mods for other channels, but in general, how do people think mods? How do mods want to be appreciated for what they do? I'll be interested in knowing how do we honor and celebrate mods?
I don't know. I'm cool with simple thank you.
I know. Even that is big.
Someone's doing it like for something, so I think it's for just because of the heart or whatever. But when we give a salute or a shout out, we really do mean it from our hearts. And I hope if ever there's ways we can support you, if you ever start a channel or do anything, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
so what's up in the house is Grooming and Reviews.
Yeah.
Welcome. Good to see you. So glad.
Hi, guys.
All right. What's going on? What do you guys bring to the conversation? We're talking about Carlee Russell, but we're also really getting deep about, how when we start feeling like we need to respond to these feelings or emotions or thought patterns, like how are we responding to those, and at what lengths do we go to either feel heard or acknowledge or be seen? So that's part of the conversation. What do you have?
So first of all, I didn't remember the woman's name. So when people start talking about Carlee Russell,
sorry, yeah. Also, she didn't feel heard or seen by you, right? Yeah.
Like I was on Security Bosses, watching Security Bosses live, right? With her and Black Man, and they're talking about Carlee Russell. I was like, word on the street, they using babies to kidnap people. Word on the street, right?
Right.
And then later I found out that's exactly the same person. I was just like, are you sure? What?
Wow.
A baby on the highway. Like I'm hip hearing people to say that, but my take on it was I would never just abandon a baby or a kid that was in need, even with that knowledge. I just know that I have to keep watch on that child while I'm calling the police. Because if I'm alone, like no other cars can pull off the street with me, I'm not gonna give you myself. Like when my baby was a baby, I didn't take her shopping that much, because how are you supposed to fight and defend yourself with a whole baby? You know what I'm saying?
I just want to be clear. So you're going with the belief that there was a child out on the freeway?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you wouldn't have gotten out. So you'd have got out, wouldn't have gotten out. What do you mean?
Wouldn't have gotten out.
Would
not
the
baby's in the car, right? The baby's in the car seat. Wouldn't have gotten out. I'm calling the police.
I remember
if it's a like life or death, like right now. Yeah, I'm not gonna be checking on the baby and stuff like that. I'm running, grabbing, and run back to the car.
Okay.
Right.
You just have to just move in the situation that you're in.
Right. But now what if you heard in the bushes? Psst.
Do you remember that rumor that and I'm in Ohio, so maybe this is an Ohio thing, but there's these few different cases where like it's a gang affiliation. If someone has like a headlight out and you know,
in Cali too.
But there's also a baby one. If you see a baby carrier, don't go over there. I mean, obviously I think she said she saw the baby running down the highway or whatever, like in a diaper.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing that, like, if you see a carrier, to like, that's a alluring, mechanism or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, this
I don't know.
The initiation.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I heard that it was like for new recruits and gangs.
Yes.
It's the initiation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
So,
yes.
Yeah. My dad's girlfriend told me about that.
Yeah.
Because here in Texas, we'd be like, I was driving. Me and my brother were driving somewhere, and we're still leaving the community, neighborhood, whatever. And I see somebody in their lawn or whatever. I say, he say, do you know them? I was like, nope. we just wave at each other. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. It's just it's like etiquette here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay.
to greet one another. But in Cali, I don't do that. I don't do that in Cali.
I think that's pretty slick though. If you have a wife or somebody you don't like and you drive down the road and see your thing, like, hey, why don't you go check on that and see what's out there?
Oh my gosh. That is
all right,
insane.
grooming and reviews. What's up? What are you bringing tonight?
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about your question.
So my question is very simple. Some people feel very weird when you are very close with them, but you say, "Hey, I consider you as family." I had this discussion with several people. Some people are like, "I am cool with that," and some other people say, "I have my family and I have my clique. I don't consider family as my clique. They're little different categories."
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think?
Personally, my clique is my family. They got my back more than my own family does.
Right.
I just want to see.
What qualifies them as your clique? What qualifies them?
Whoever has my back. Who's there for me when I need to cry? Who's there when I just need to scream and yell or need to talk to when I have a bad moment? Who's there for me when I pick up the phone and call?
Yeah.
When your mom gave you birth, she risked taking her last breath so you can have your first. It's not like on TV where they say, get a bucket of Crisco and some hot water. And there've been mothers to pass away on the delivery table.
I will give my mom a lot of credit.
What are you looking at? A bucket of Crisco?
No commercial.
I know, right?
The Crisco, but
I will give my mom. I'm sorry. I will give my mom a lot of credit pushing me out. Before me, she had 8 miscarriages, and I was a fat baby. Like pounds, like she pushed out like 2 footballs. She said with me, and a C-section. But because she had all that stuff, and I know people think being an only child, you're spoiled. It's the opposite of me. I have to earn everything. I've been working since 12 years old. My father looked at me at 12 when I asked him for $5, says, get a job. I'm like, seriously? And I've been working ever since then. I don't know when to stop and relax. It's not. I don't know what that is. Never done it.
Interesting. I think it depends. I think it's for each person to decide. I mean, I think for me personally, family does have a different category or a different meaning, but at the same time, I don't think that that's like it doesn't have to be like a rule that everyone abides by. Like, I'm not close with my mom whatsoever, and people will say, but she's your mom. You only have one mom. Very long story. But it's like, well, you're right. But you know what I mean?
Just real quick, I see M Mills saying hello to us. Hello, M Mills. Welcome. And we have OG Steel, J-O-J OG. Welcome.
OG J Speed.
Yes.
Hi, how you doing today?
Hey.
All right. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I don't know where y'all like the conversation because I had to step away for about 30 minutes. Y'all know what I do. I run a house with people, so Sometimes I do, but I think when the last thing I was talking to y'all was talking about the young lady, and I want to share a story. Something happened there about 8 o'clock this morning in my house. I had a young man who was having some mental disorder. I don't know what pushed his button, what got him in the situation that he's in. But he was having a conversation with his wife, and she said she didn't want him anymore, and he should just end himself. The man ended up jumping out of the window 2 stories this morning. Now, it could have been a bad situation, and by the time I got to him, he was bleeding from the head, and I kept pressure on his head until the right people got here to take him to the hospital. And this is why I say the power that we have with these microphones, sometimes we don't even understand, and we're way beyond. And I'm not speaking on the doctor, I'm not even speaking of you, Coach K. I'm just speaking at some of these other channels. They sit around and pick at people when they go through things and not understanding the backstory of what they're going through. And they shouldn't even be having these discussions. And see, this is why I get so tired of the manosphere, and I get so tired of this war that we are in, that everything's become funny and everything become a joke. When people's life depend on what situation they might be in their life, that you might see it one way, and it may be something totally different going on. I think when I left out of here, the doctor was analyzing what was going through this person's head. When people get to the point they break, you got to know what was going through their head, and people who are professionally trained could analyze that a lot better versus these amateur B comedians who think they can just get on the microphone and get on YouTube because YouTube let them do that. They can just go in on people's life, and I think that is a disservice of humanity. Totally. I don't heard everything said about this lady because B said about this lady, and I'm like this. One of the things I never did is when a man or a woman is down, put my foot in their mouth. There's a reason why they're down in the first place. They need a hand up. They don't need to be pushed down. And we're so insensitive to humanity now. I don't know which way we're going, but it just shows that everybody wants to point their fingers at somebody who's doing worse than them to make themselves to be something they're not.
No.
So what you have to say about that, my friend, doctor?
Oh, well, spot on. I think you're 1 billion % correct, including our conversation today. But if you, no, so period, new sentence. For those who've been watching some of my words or verbiage, I'm active in those chats about stop. You don't even know, and mental illness. And now, no one personally, but I boil when people are like, they're trash. They're a piece of crap. They're stupid. They're dumb. I'm like, really? That's what we're doing? And as I was saying at the beginning of the show, I was on Lost in Translation, like, man, hey, and he was only just saying, hey, let's say a prayer for the family. But I was like, hey, we don't know if she's a medical student. A lot of things could have been going on. I think this could have been, DOD, not just her, someone playing. And then it came back. I left the comment. I was going to delete it, but I'm like, no. I'm human. I made a mistake. It wasn't about a mental illness. It wasn't about anything. It was about something I didn't even know about, but yet speaking to it. And so I agree with you 1 billion %. And we have to be careful too when we're engaging in those conversations, even if we're saying just a clinical perspective. It's still a perspective that, one, is either none of my business. 2, I don't know because I didn't get a chance to talk with that person.
Right.
Or 3, I try and give the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, let's add this into the perspective of not just bashing someone, but it could have been this. So I agree with you 1 billion %. And I know Coach K earlier said, not to defend you, Coach K, but I know one of the things you said to say, listen, our goal is not for the entertainment part of it. Our goal is to say, there are people out there who's either going to follow this plan, like, oh, I'm going to do this, or how can we help prevent it? What can we do to help intervene? Like if we talk to it about this angle and that angle, are we able to just drop some messages out there so people know you don't have to go this far in case? There's a lot of if or what that we could be putting out into the world that's totally inaccurate. So I agree with
and OG and Dr. Nakumbe, that was spot on. Both of you are spot on. And that is something that's really sad about social media and even Twitter. It's just so instant, no nuance, no understanding. And I will say, let's say she did it for attention. That, to me, though, that my heart goes out to her, because it's not from the information and the education that I have. I know that it's not in a selfish way or a self-serving way. There's something going on where, let's say, it could be self-worth, a lacking. And I understand that, and I feel for her, and that's sad. That is a sad situation. And I'm not even saying that's the reason she did it. We don't know. But I would rather find understanding or try to and empathize and, meet her where she's at, even though I don't have all the information, because that's a much more productive and constructive way, and it humanizes her. I can't imagine. Of course, no, I don't think it was a good idea, but at the same time, I do feel for her, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I've been looking at it. What do you think, OG?
I think both of y'all spot on. I was trying to get something, so if you can go to somebody, I want to share my screen. I want to share a picture. It's not anything. It's my own picture. I just want to share. I don't know if y'all have exclusive where y'all can bring things up, but if you go to somebody else to pull up this picture, it's not.
Yep. CBN, are you able to?
Yeah, CBN should be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull it up as soon as I can. So you can go to someone else, and I'm just gonna click off till I pull up the picture.
So in the chat, the part I was saying it was BS is that Russell went this far to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who want attention and want to see how many people will show up for them, even though I don't think it's a good measurement of who's there for you. But there's been people who had fake funerals.
Oh yeah, I saw that part. Yeah, about the fake funeral, like you were talking about.
Yep, fake funerals. But the thing is, the difference in that is
fake deletions too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in that sense, you're only affecting those who know you. You're not messing with our emergency system, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not
search and rescue. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. All that. Mm-hmm. When they should be looking for other people who actually need them.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm gonna snatch a phrase out of what you just said. Looking for. Mm-hmm. Looking for. Sometimes I ask, do we ever feel seen? Do we ever feel heard? And then I also ask, do people even give a shit about us? Right. I don't mean that like in a pity way, like, oh, do you even care about us? I'm saying at the end of the day, does anyone ever really care? What's the buy-in from my care? If we're not sharing something, some money together, some status together, some whatever together, what is my investment in the connection with you? And I have my life, so why should I be taking? And then you say, well, we're either romantic partners or we're family members or we're part of that clique. But notice that's what the tie-in. We're part of that clique. That's the tie-in right there. That's what gets me to see you. We're family. That's what it is. But check this out. There's some family members that don't even talk to each other all year long. They don't even talk to each other until the next wedding, the next reunion, or the next funeral. And some take off from where they left off. Hey, what's up? They talk as if they had just talked yesterday. And then there are other families who have to talk every single day. Baba, you don't even talk to your brother. You don't even call your sister. You don't talk to your mama. Well, we're fine. So again, I think it's what we connect to. But some people who don't have that what piece, if it's a very fragile what, if it's a very fragile reason, connection, and there's opportunity for people to feel lost, disconnected, not seen, not heard. And then what are they doing to be heard? Like, what are you getting out there and being presentable, or are you just kind of sitting? And I did this before where someone gets trampled in the fire escape plan. They didn't follow it. They got trampled, and they're laying down, oh, help, and they can get up. Help, and waiting. Shoes, get on their phone, laying down, and then hear some commotion out there. Hello, and what's going on? But they rather have someone come rescue them, and so we have to be careful when we get into that mindset. The lens we go to be rescued. All right, OG, what you have it up?
I'm ready.
All right. Isaiah's in the house. Hello, Isaiah. Thank you for swinging through. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Please hit the like button if you have not. If you like the conversation, please also forward it to someone else. And then CBN, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There he is. Yes.
Sharp man.
This is what you're looking at. I had this meeting Monday.
Okay.
California is in a state of emergency. Been in a state of emergency ever since January 1st. I'm having a meeting with the mayor, and you all know that we have a mayor who's a female. That's her right there, Miss Bass, Madam Bass, Mayor Madam Bass. She's been working in the street, I know, for the last 40 years, 30 to 40 years. She has a master plan. She's not a politician. She had her foot on the ground, and I've been working in this field for about 40 years, even when I was acting in Hollywood. It's always been a personal thing to me because my sister ended up in Bearview Hospital in New York, went in there when she was 18, ended up getting raped 28 times and dying with AIDS, and she got it from the staff. And so that's what pulls me in to be on front line. And I'm speaking to the mayor. This is the first time we ever seen each other first face to face. I just wanted to show this picture because I want people to know I don't just get on YouTube and talk.
Right.
I get in front of the right people to get policies passed that affects people's life. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but when you sit around and clown about other people's life and you put forth no effort. There was a lady, I think about 10 years ago. She was missing for 18 days, and they found out it was a hoax. And I think she got about like 6 months, 180 days. I don't know exactly what, but it's a very low sentence she got. But it took them 4 years to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. She was in California, I think.
Right. And so what I'm saying is, this thing is so serious. We got over 90-something thousand people downtown, and this was my plan. My plan was there's a lot of brick and mortar malls are shut down. Could be a city within itself where you can take places like Sears and some of the other big department stores in these malls, and you can turn them into dormitories. You can set up little satellite hospitals in this mall. You can put the police there. You can put all the people in the places should be because the mall is made for that.
Yeah.
Nobody even think of this type of plan. They always think about taking people from the outside. Look, homelessness is the symptom of what the ailment is. By the time you get downtown and you stay down there 6 months, I don't care if you went down there for a mental problem, you go get into some kind of drug or alcohol because it's cold in the wintertime. You got to get something to get it out of your mind that you are living in the street like an animal. So after you've been down there 10 and 13 years, 9 years, 5 years, you know what usually happens? You get so used to being in a tent, even when somebody puts you in an apartment, you set a tent up in the front room. I don't seen it done. This mental challenge and this substance abuse all put in together, we got to understand where's the humanity in all of us. I really want to thrive on that.
Now I have a question. For one, I want to salute you for doing what you do. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I know you're not telling us for praise. I have a question because I believe all of us have a target on our front and our back. And when we stand up, the advocates who stand up, they're the biggest target in the room. What do you offer? What do you say about those who they feel like they make attempts and they're offering, but they either feel rejected or pushed back, or they don't really have the stamina or the capacity to stay with the fight, They do a few rah, 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 and then they sit down, a few rah, 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 and sit down. And then if they get pushed back, then they don't get back up at all. You have
It ain't your job. Yeah, It ain't your job. I had 5 kids. As my father, who had 18. Every job is not for everybody. And just because you're the father of your father of your children, or you're the mother of your children, there'll be other people on the outside of your house who can reach your children better than you can and say the same exact thing you said, but they're more impressed with that person on the outside. Let me just give you what I'm talking about. My father said the same thing as my boxing coach. I boxed for 20-something years, but I was more influenced with my boxing coach and instruction because I spent so much time with him. It's not that my father was not my hero.
Right.
But these are the people, when I was so poor I couldn't even go to the right medical, and they was willing, and these are police officers who took me to their doctors on their insurance and got me on a nutritional diet because I had a hole in my heart, and they got me on a nutrition so I could eat right so I can close that heart up. And that heart closed up in 9 months. I would have never got that kind of care going to the health department. And so what I'm saying is, everybody's not made to sing. Everybody's not made to dance. Find out what you're good in, because whatever you might be good in, it might assist in something in that same field, but you might not be the right person for hands-on. You might be okay to serve food in a soup line, pass out a Coke in a line, be able to greet somebody and say, how you doing? How's your day? What can I do to help you? Sometimes you ain't gonna have all the answers. The old JSP don't have all the answers. And God knows I don't make a lot of mistakes. But I'm willing to learn, So that's all I can say.
Yeah, and those positions matter just as much as, because I think sometimes, whether it's in the church or whatever, because I remember a certain verse talking about the different parts of the body of the church, but it still goes to this too. We might not pursue something because we think it doesn't amount to this high level, whatever. So it doesn't matter. Why do it anyway? But the thing is, though, is it does matter. You feeding, those people or helping give out clothes or whatever it is still matters to that person that you're helping. And also in the greater system of, whatever, if let's say you're doing it at an organization, that still is a cog in the wheel to serve that greater purpose. And I do want to add that I think that not only as a society we're failing at this, but this is also something that contributes to how bad we kind of feel and empty we feel when we're not serving others. When you're so focused on me and what I don't have, not only do you feel like crap, but you're also not doing anything for someone else. You're not getting that either. And Dr. Nakumbe, we've talked about that a little bit here and there about when we do things for other people. I mean, there's a greater purpose in that and how it contributes to our overall well-being as humans.
One of the things I want to add, and I definitely, sometimes people wake me up. So like the Harris tribe, they were talking not too long ago, and I'm like, oh, you don't need to say another word. And OG, what I want to pull away from our conversation today, that picture that you shared, actually, I saw that maybe about a week ago, I think it was, in one of our chats.
Yeah.
But we didn't get on the show and talk about that. Not saying we had to, Coach K, but I'm saying, wow. So here's an example, because if it had been the opposite, we would have, I say we, but I think overall the YouTube streets would have been like, oh, and how do people need to get, in fact, I just said that you guys need to vote, you need to do this, you need to do that. If you believe in voting, do your piece. and then we have an example of someone doing their piece, and not a word was not a picture was shown, but not even a word said about it. And you're right here, part of the network and the family. And I can't speak for the other ones on the network, but I know my role. I did not speak to it. So I think being more aware that when we come across stuff like that, how do we speak to it? Not for the praise and not for the, because, we're not talking about like, oh, yeah. Not that, but the acknowledgement of, here's an example. In case you don't know how to do it, there it is right there. In case you want to try it, there it is right there. So I thank you again, not only for just bringing it to our attention, but it woke me up to remember, wait a second, damn it, I saw that picture, I think it was about a week ago with the fellas. I'm like, ooh, you didn't say a word to it. Oh, that's interesting. So,
and it lights a fire. Like,
appreciate that.
Not only recognizing you, J Speed, but also in what you're doing in the piece that you're playing, the role, but also I don't know about you guys, but I feel it's good to have that reminder, and it lights a fire in you, whatever I'm called to do or whatever I'm involved in. It's like, dang, I need to freaking get it together. Like, you've been slacking,
Right.
and the people that I'm, serving, whatever I'm into, so like, thank you for that too, J Speed. And like that, yeah.
How do we sustain that though? Because people get pumped up and talk all that good shit, and then tomorrow not do anything. So how do we sustain that overall? What do people think? How do we?
Well, what I have found out is, believe it or not, I've been doing this with the 30-some people in the house. I tore up my credit card, and I tore up my debit card. And my people in my house never had to ask for anything, and neither as I had to ask for anything. That's how you sustain it. When you're doing something right, the universe becomes just like a breast. It will pump milk as long as you suck from it. And if you're doing the right thing, you will start to see things happening in your life that'll be 20 times in anything that you could imagine start to happen.
I believe that.
Because you'll start seeing doors opening for you. At any given time, I can call the DA department. I can call the prosecutor office and say, my people need some clothes. I can call the the DA department and say the public defender's office and say, my people are cold, I need hoodies. They gonna have me 5 or 6 boxes with hoodies, not cheap hoodies. I'm talking about the top of the line. Hundreds of them. So I'm saying is, no one has to do it on the scale that I do it, but take it as everything's something you learn in life. If you start to learn the natural order of things, you start to learn how things are built. You can't build a brick without a grain of sand. Who to say which grain of sand was more important? That's how you got your brick. By one grain of sand to build something so solid, you can build a house with it. So you sustain it by sustaining yourself as you produce greatness, and others shall greatness come to you without even asking for it.
I would like Grumman and Beautiful Animated to speak to that. I want to add one thing really quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, those out there listening, please, I want to pull something from what OG just said. Sustaining yourself. Some of those feel goods we say as far what we do and how we give back. But the root to that is really because we think we're doing for someone else. The feel good is we say that we're doing for someone else. And then when they don't respond the way that we want them to, and we don't get the praise or the kudos or the kisses or any of that, and we feel like no one was listening, no one paid attention, no one saw me. Well, were you doing it because really for the greater good, or were you doing it for the attention? Were you doing it because
There you
this is
go.
something you knew you should be doing? Like you have the gift to do it. You have the skill set to do it. You have the courage to do it. You have the motivation to do it. You have the balls to get up and say, hey, I'm going to speak because I know this is not right. I'm going to stand for those who can't stand. Or are you saying like, damn, man, I wonder if I get a news clip out of it. I wonder if I'll get some money out of it. I wonder if like
what's in
I
it
get
for
to go
me?
late. Yeah, I get to go home later and be like, yeah, look what I did. So really the sustaining piece. And I will be first to tell you, for those who know me, when I say I love giving back, but every blue moon someone asks, well, why did you tell us what you did? Why did you have to mention it? You hold on, did you say you do Secret Santa, but then you just told me the story? How much of a secret is it? And I'm like, no, but the people, they don't know. Well, now they do. But the people. So I challenge all of us, myself included, to think about, why are you doing what you say you do? And how can you sustain it? I'm going to pull from what we just heard. Sustaining self. Watch the greed. Watch the selfishness. Watch the BS that we're telling ourselves. Watch the lies that we're telling ourselves. Watch out for all the kind of see me, see me, see me. Just be yourself. Lay down the brick or be part of the brick the best that you can, or get out the way. Getting out the way doesn't hurt either. Getting out of the way does not hurt either, because then you know you made space for the people who offer water at the the marathons. Some people just offering water. They're out of the way, but just every blue moon offers some water. So I want to highlight what we just heard. Thank you so much, OG, for stating that. It reminded me, like, yeah. We forget. We claim it's because what we want to do, but we get out there with some BS and then feel some kind of way if we don't get the response that we want. And that's not genuine at all. Not genuine.
And I must say, before I leave, I'm 65 years old. And
His health is on.
Looking good.
Yeah, his health is.
And my health is on. I mean, on a little greasy face today, look like I'm getting ready to make some Kentucky Fried Chicken on my face. Other than that, I mean, I just wanted to be on the camera. I ain't want to go in and wash my face and everything because I'm getting ready to celebrate one of the people in my house birthday. But I just wanted the people to know that if I can do this at my age, and I'm retired, I've been retired for 5 years, and I'm willing to go out there and touch someone. I have had 5 successes in my house, and you don't get that kind of success in this kind of business. And doctor could tell you, if you get 5 people out of 2 years to walk out of your gates and be able to thrive through life and have an apartment and live on their own, and you get people that they take medicine who's never been able to take medicine for 3 or 4 years, just totally decline it and have the trust in you, and their mom don't spend over $300,000 and $400,000. See, I don't just deal with poor people. I deal with people who have money, but they have poured this money into other organizations, other institutions, and got no results. And see, one thing about me and my business partners and people I work for and the people who works for me, I tell them clients come first before business. Because if you don't have clients, you got no business. And I make sure no one is taking advantage in my house. You don't get to take their SSI. You don't get to take their money because they got a lump of money and they might have Alzheimer's disease and don't know they got the money. No, that money stays in place. And I'm going to tell you, even though these people have mental challenges, substance abuse, and even whatever trauma don't happen in their life, people remember, they know real. These people have been shipped around all their life. I mean, I had 3 or 4 people pass in my house, and nobody came and get their body. And then I make a memorial. I do a tribute to that person's life on my YouTube by saying great words about that person. See, people don't understand, what some of these people go through. Some of these people been in and out of these kind of places, and places like that, even when they was a child, and they end up as an adult and an elder adult in the same place that they started off. That they have to depend on someone else to do their business. And I make sure I do their business, and it ain't my business. It's their business. And so I can do this at this age, and I could be somewhere in Africa, I could be somewhere in one of the islands or any country I can choose, just with my pension. And I could just be having an umbrella and a drink and just sitting back and sucking on it. But I feel like that so many people can offer so many great things and to enhance my life. then why shouldn't I give back? So
Mm-hmm.
peace, love, and always strive for the truth. And I hope
Nice.
all of y'all families and yourself are doing well.
You too, GSP. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you, sir.
us.
Honored to have you.
Thank you.
Peace. Thank you.
Yes, take care. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Grumman. What do you have for us? We hit our final thoughts. We hit a few different spots in the show tonight, but what do you want to leave the people with, and also remind people of where you can be found or what you're doing?
Sure. First of all, this hit home for me. A little backstory on me. A few years back, I was like that. I was like, I want to help, but I wanted something out of it. I want a reward. I want a pat on the back, something. Till my mom got cancer. She has third stage chemo cancer, colon cancer. She beat it the first time. She will beat it again. And that's where I start giving back. I'm a chef in a nursing home. Before that, I was a chef at a hospital. And I tell my employees, what if that was your mother? What if that was your father? What if that was your sister, your wife, your child? Plate that food correctly or get out. That's a job. No, it's not a job. A few years before that, I worked for a university, and my director said, "We're here to serve." I'm here for a paycheck. I was thinking to myself at the time.
Right.
Well, I was like, go back in time and kick myself right in the balls when I said that. I regret saying that to myself. And that is so, so important. Give back. You don't need a reward. Just give back.
Yeah.
I remember it was recently. I was going to see my therapist, and I was between work and therapy. I had a little time. I went to White Castle to eat something. So this poor guy asking for food. I had a good amount of food left over. Let's say 5 burgers, fries, and everything. I looked at it. I called him over. Hey, dude, get over here. He goes, yeah, yes, sir. I'm like, take it. You sure? Like, take it. And I told my friend of mine. He goes, did you record it? You could have used it for contact for your channel. I'm like, that's not what I do. This is not my channel is about. My channel is about beards, hair, skincare. So like not what I can do for the community. That was just I was at the right place at the right time, and I was glad I gave him that food. I don't regret it. If I can do it again, I would. If I can give food every day out, I would. If I can start a soup kitchen in PA right here where I live, I would have. I would have do whatever I can to help back because I've been down on my luck. I've been homeless. I've been the worst shape ever. I fall down and get back up. So that hits home for me.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
powerful.
you.
And thank you for sharing. And thank you for joining us too and asking your question and everything.
To be honest with you, I do mostly beards and hair and all that stuff. But on Mondays, I do Motivation Mondays. So I try to put a message out there, and positive message. It might sound a little negative at first, but as you listen to the video, I twist it to a positive. Like one of my biggest saying is, we all fall down, but fall forward because you see where you messed up, so you can get up and do it again right this time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well,
But you're on the real precious. I hear you when you're dropping gems there. So I know you've been dropping.
Yeah,
gems.
definitely check my channel. It's literally called Grooming Reviews 101. Like I said, Monday's motivation, Tuesdays anything about beard, and Thursdays about hair, skin, any kind of care. And soon I'm gonna be starting a 4th day with a gym day because I'm in a evolution of myself. So it's a work in progress.
Let's go. All about it. Well, that's good. Good stuff. I know they're tagging your channel in the chat, so we'll definitely have to if you haven't check them out. So
it may sound kind of cheesy. I'm sorry, Coach K. It may sound kind of cheesy, but when I hear you say, "Hey," up until a certain point, my mom had a lot of loss and grief and a lot of loss in the process. Yeah. So clearly, I say, well, there must have been a reason for you. It's a blessing. It's a reason. So whatever that blessing and reason was, I thank you. Whoever higher power and everyone said we're gonna make it happen for grooming. He's here, and so I'm
grooming. It's a part of it. Like I tell people, when you grow a beard, it's not gonna be overnight. It's patience.
No, it's not.
Yeah, man.
I know from my husband.
Yeah.
So, as you got professionals, one biggest thing in every man is we don't have patience. You want to learn how to patience, grow a beard, and not talk to me then. You're gonna learn patience very fast.
Because it ain't gonna look pretty for a while, isn't it?
Right.
But
you go from
with it, or you're gonna lose everything.
You go from the stubble phase to the awkward phase to a good phase to awkward phase to safe. It goes up and down with beards.
Yeah.
So you have to get through those humps.
Right.
It's
That's
a lot of
quite a
work.
message.
Like you have to put an oil in. You got to wash. You learn patience very, very fast. Like, okay, today I'm having a rough beard day. Like right now, I just groomed it and it looks good. It looks fresh. But tomorrow I wake up, my beard's gonna be like halfway like that, all over the place. And you got to keep babying it, take care of it like a child and a wife.
Right. Life's like a beard. But yeah, that's great. And I do want to also mention to the audience, when we look back at our past and like for things, we kind of see why they happened the way that they did. We can kind of gain some insight, and we're so glad that they happened. But also remember too, if that thing that happened, it's happening now. Something's happening now. And even though it's, it's rough and it's uncomfortable and it sucks, hang in there, because remember when that happened, that other thing, there could possibly be a greater purpose. And sometimes you can find that while you're going through it, but just trust that there will be a greater purpose down the road. So,
well, I tell people all the time, life is going to happen. We're not going to have bumps. We will have bumps. It's a part of life, evolution in a way. But it's like a chisel. You're scorpioning away and then molding you. That armor is building on you. It makes you tougher and stronger.
Yeah.
But don't forget to return that out in the world. Give your hand out and say, thank you. Or let me help you get up. Somebody dropped the books. Pick them up for them. You never know they're having a bad day. Sometimes you have to smile at somebody, hey, how are you? Might help them. You don't know. That smile, I know how ugly my mug is sometimes, but a smile might help make somebody day a little better. Yeah, because that smile might save somebody's life.
That and compliments.
Yeah, you never
like
know.
Those affirmations. I think it's interesting. I hope one day we can actually have a show about how, because we get pumped up and hear those promising messages and those feel goods, but we hit every day with the realities. There's some people out there who, I want to do, and I hear you, but you don't live my reality. You're not in my shoes. You're not in my situation. You're not in my home. You're not in my environment. And they get hit with these realities, and so then it distorts the very positive message that we gave. So I think these constant reminders help. Like, yep, you're right. But then also, I'm hoping we get to the point of how the steps to take. The smile. Did you even smile today? Smile about what? How much crap I have going on in my life, but did you smile today? Because you're gonna have crap going on no matter what. So did you smile? There, I smiled there. But then coming out of that, you'll be surprised how many people come out like, okay, what? Like, okay, that was stupid. Yeah, but now there's the natural, well, whatever, man, that was stupid. I hear you, but you took a step to even get that smile for the day. But the realities that people face, I think at some point we should also address, how do you do it when you have these realities? Earlier I'm sitting up here eating these M&Ms, but I'm sure someone out there in the world doesn't even have an M&M.
Yeah, that's totally right. Because you don't know the little things. Open a door for somebody, and like help them with the groceries. You don't know if it's so simple. Like like somebody having a bad day. I'm at work. Like, hey, you want me to make you something to eat? I don't know about like, you want a grilled cheese or a burger? Like I'll whip something up. I don't mind. That's the little things. It might take me like 30 seconds to make you a grilled cheese on the flat top. Okay. But it's such little things. It's so much behind that. And like that's why if you start doing a little thing, like for example, my hair. Like I'm gonna donate this eventually.
Okay.
So it's a work in progress. Yeah, you didn't expect that long, did you?
Yeah. No, I ain't looking at you.
Yeah. So eventually I'm gonna donate it. But I made a deal with my mother. She hates my long hair. She hates my beard. I go, listen, you beat cancer. I cut the hair and I will actually shave my beard. But that's a motivation.
Yeah.
Like a little motivation goes a long way. And I learned that the hard way. Like I thought like motivation is watching a video or doing this. Like, no. Yeah. It's words. Those words are so powerful. Yeah. And I didn't even realize that till this happened. And like when that year that her cancer happened, everything fell apart. But it molded us and got us bigger, like a phoenix.
Right. Right. Made you stronger. Yep.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Well, thank
K,
you.
that
Thank
adds
you.
to what you were talking about, in our story tonight. If that person had felt heard, if they felt seen, if they had felt acknowledged, if someone just smiled for them that day, it would have made a difference. So,
right.
All right. Well, it's absolute an honor to have you on the show. Yeah, I didn't know you're here with.
Yeah.
I know you were working with all that. So, thank you, sir. And grooming and
It was
reviews.
a pleasure.
It was an honor having you. Please remember Mondays is his night, but actually 4 shows or 4 different themes throughout the week. So please check them out. This link is in the chat there. So thank you. All right,
thank you. Hope
VAS.
to see you soon. Beautifully animated. What you got?
What do you have for us?
Nothing much. Pay attention to your people. If they're acting funny, get them some help. If there's news about people using new ways to snatch people, move.
Sorry,
move with caution.
I know. I just thinking about the baby. I'm sorry. No.
You gotta move with caution and just call the popo. Your friends that you feel are family, no one can correct you on that, but that person. But
right
outside of the relationship between you two, can't nobody speak on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thank you for always joining us and
always
supporting
and showing up for us. Much appreciated, and thank you for your pearls of wisdom. And Coach K, what do you have for us?
So great conversation. Lots of insight. I think going forward, we'll talk, but definitely that how is so important, and that's something that I think, being passionate about mental health, but yearning for, okay, it's important, but how? And I didn't really start feeling better until I learned how. And that's something that I know me and Dr. Nakumbe we are going to help you with. But I also want to say too, people in the chat, people viewing this replay, email Black Man Unfiltered. I think his info's in the description. Or at least I'll put it, we'll get it in there somehow. But if there's anything that you have questions about or topics that you want us to discuss, let us know. We'll figure out how to get our contact info. But in our channels or whatever, you can find us on Instagram. Well, I have Instagram. You have Instagram, Dr. Neb? Yeah. We're all over, I'm sure. But let someone know and we'll talk about it. And then I wanted to leave you with this. So we were talking about the chiseling or the small things. I had a quote ready for this conversation. I'm glad I get to use it. So it's a quote that's in the San Antonio Spurs locker room, but it's a quote by Jacob Reese, and it says, "When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stonecutter hammering away at his rock, perhaps 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet at the 101st blow, it will split in two. And I know it was not that last blow that did it, but all that had gone before." So I'll leave you with that. Dr. Nakumbe, what you got?
That was beautiful. I'm highlighting that for folks. You know what? The one I found stops at showing in it, much as a crack showing in it. So you had a longer. Does it end there? The one that you just read? When nothing seems to help, I go look at a stone cutter hammering away.
Yeah, showing in it. Yeah, and then it says, "Yet at the 100." It's from a book, so I don't know if there's different variations, but I can put it in the chat.
And Jacob. Jacob.
Jacob Reese. It's Riis.
All right, cool. Got it up there. Well, thank you, Coach K, for having this conversation with me, or with us having it for our community here. And I again appreciate what OJ Speed was saying, and in light of making sure we don't sound like hypocrites, We did have the conversation about this person. I know our intention, and hopefully you were able to receive it out there, is to look at some different perspectives. So different perspectives. The reality is this is talked about in the news. This is talked about someone who's out there, and boom, people are going to take away what they take away. If it was this story, please look at what are the lengths people are going to, willing to go to, knowingly, unknowingly go to get that need met, So intentionally, yeah, I cause chaos, but that it seems like when I yell is when you finally hear me. But can we get to a point where we don't have to yell? Are we able to teach those in our lives how to see us or receive us before we get to that point of yelling? Or what is it that I'm doing that I don't appear to be heard but I believe if I yell, I feel heard? So if that's the route that you received from this story or from Mrs. Russell's life, please look at what are you doing. If it's the mental health route, look at your mental wellness. How are you taking care of yourself? Are you going to doctors? Are you willing to talk to counselors? Are you willing to be coached so you can move forward and grow forward? Are you willing to take medications? That's another whole conversation. Some people just, no, I'm cool. I'm not taking medications. I'm not going to let anyone poison me. I'm not going to let this and let that. But at what point are you willing to take medications with those providers that are willing to teach you, not just prescribe you? Right. So looking at multiple ways of taking care of your mental wellness and then addressing any mental illness so that you can be in position to maintain your health. A lot of times with mental illness, people feel better and they prematurely stop the care. Or with coaching, we can set up 12 sessions, right, Coach K? But then I just kind of faded out in the 6th or 7th because I think I got that one answer. I got that, that's what I've been, I got it now. And we don't follow through on the rest of the steps. So please look at, internally, how are you doing? Mentally, how are you doing? Emotionally, how are you doing? At what lengths do you go to feel heard, to be seen? And from grooming, who are the people that you want to participate with? Who are the people you want to be connected with? Look at that piece too, because you might be screaming to the wrong people. And so hopefully we didn't do any injustice tonight. Again, if anyone feels a certain kind of way, please reach out to us. We know what the intent is. And sometimes those conversations, they don't always feel good. We're here to have it. And so hopefully you took something away from it. We thank you for joining us. Please, on your way out, remember, if you did not hit the like button, please do. Please spread the word about the show if you liked it. If you think someone can benefit from it, we greatly appreciate that. If you have not subscribed to the channel, Black Man Unfiltered, please do that as well. We thank you for your time tonight. We'll see you next time. Coach K, is always an honor. CBN, thank you for doing what you do.
Likewise.
Yes. Lady Navarro and all the mods, absolutely.
Yes,
big shout out to you. Thanks. Mandrell was in the house. I saw his name earlier, so thank you for swinging by. M. Mills, thank you. And Take Heed was here. Many names. I'm just going through. Going through. But everyone, Isaiah, everyone who came
still
through,
owe Lady Navoa a song. So if CBN, if we can end with, I forgot. If we can end with a song and then roll the outro, that would be great for Lady Navoa.
Fabulous. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, let me slow it down. Rapping with the singing, I be spinning. You can get it all free like welfare. Back to the beginning. Know what I told ya. I got 2 degrees, now I'm dumb rich. This sound like some 718 shit. The living weirdo on the same shit. Damien, let's go violinist. desert, but when you admire the light, see the villains are paper mache. I'm on the way to the promised land, no contraband. I'm an honest man, I'm coming. I'm young man, I'm set free, playing my part like the Red Sea. Man, I'm from heaven, I'm here with my brother in the volumes 11, now we're getting rowdy.